Welcome to the Better Upper Lip. As always, thank you for joining me. So, today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. I haven't written anything down, I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff, but just wanted to give y'all, the loyal viewers, an update on what's been going on with me. And essentially, what is going to be more or less kind of a layout for what the next couple months are going to be like for the channel, uh, how I see it affecting the channel, and moving forward past that, where I hope the channel ends up. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm proudly and finally a law school graduate. I just graduated a few weeks ago from law school here in Macon, Georgia. And for those of you who aren't from the United States, you might not be aware of what the system is here for law school grads becoming attorneys. Is essentially each state is its own governing jurisdiction when it comes to granting admission to the state's bar and being granted a license to practice as an attorney within that state. So, for example, I have to take the Georgia bar exam in order for me to be certified to practice law in Georgia. I cannot, unless there's some type of provisional exception made, practice in another state, unless, again, I get some kind of exception from another state court for like a criminal case, for example, or coming on for an advisory opinion. I basically can't get a Georgia license and then move to Tennessee and start practicing law. So, in lieu of what has happened with COVID-19, it's, of course, thrown a wrench in the entire inner gears of the world, but more specifically with the legal community and law schools having to conduct the last couple months of my last semester of law school, essentially doing online classes. And in lieu of what social distancing is required, that, of course, has created an entire network of nightmares and hangups for how all the states in the United States typically not just schedule the bar exam, but study for the bar exam. So that brings me to my next point. Typically, in the United States, most all states have two bar exams every year. It's typically always in July and then in February. For most law school grads graduating in May, you would typically be taking the bar exam, at least in Georgia. The most immediate date would be in the middle of July. So a typical schedule would be someone graduates at the beginning of May, they get roughly a week off, if you will, and then they immediately hit the ground running on bar prep classes, which essentially it is 10 weeks, about 40, 45 hours a week at least of just hard-nosed tutoring. I mean, it is a gulag, it is a boot camp. You are essentially turning yourself into a test-taking machine so that, God willing, you're only taking the bar exam one time. Well, because again of COVID, that has thrown a wrench in the plans of when the bar exam would typically be scheduled. So without making this longer than I need to, instead of July, the Georgia bar exam has been pushed to September, specifically September 10th, 8th, and 10th. So what that has done is it's extended, obviously, the period of when normally I would be taking the bar exam immediately after law school, but it's also changed the curriculum schedule for the bar prep that I'm doing. So, for example, bar prep officially for me does not start until next week. At the time of recording this, it starts on June 1st. Leading into the fact that they've extended the curriculum now to where it's going well into August and part of September, so that there isn't this giant dead period in between when prep would typically end, which would be like mid-July, assuming I was taking a July bar exam. Now, of course, it's being accommodated for the fact that September is the new test date. So the point that I'm trying to get at is, over the next couple months, time is going to be a very precious commodity for me. I'm going to be at least spending 5 days a week doing 8 to 10 hours of studying, with the evenings essentially to lick my intellectual wounds, try to feed myself, get some sleep, and then rinse and repeat the very next day. So time is going to be a very precious commodity. The other factor is going to, of course, be money. I'm not going to be working at this time. I'm essentially going to be living off the money that I've saved from my student loans and other scholarships I got while I was in law school. So I'm going to be, out of necessity to a degree, living a bit of a pauper lifestyle. I'm just not going to have a lot of expenditure leeway to be going out and buying new beers all the time. So that was just a lot of biting ear and gabbing to basically say the point that, realistically speaking, for the next couple months, I would say at most maybe expect a review once a week, twice a week at the very most. There might be some weeks where there's no beer reviews. I just don't want people to think that the channel's dead, that I've forgotten about it, that I don't want to do it. I mean, I absolutely love doing this, but to address the most recent delay, I've, of course, been in the lieu of trying to earn a little bit more money, and I've taken on a few weeks of full-time work at the attorney's office where I've been law clerking throughout law school, just to try to get a little bit extra geetus in my pocket, as my grandfather would say. So yeah, got to eat before I drink, and I say this with the most heartfelt, tongue-in-cheek aspect that yes, there's probably going to be nothing better that's going to make me want to drink beer more than studying for the bar exam. I absolutely will be daydreaming about a cold, sudsy one frequently throughout the day and the week. So, but yeah, essentially though, just stay patient with me. Feel free, as always, in the comments section of this video, if you have any questions about what the bar exam is going to be like, how I'm studying for it. If you have any beers that you would recommend that I try, so that the next time I'm out, I literally have something more specific to look for, and it's not such a crapshoot for me trying to buy something. Always appreciate your recommendations. But I appreciate for all of y'all the support that you've always given me for long-time viewers, as long time as it's been over the past couple months. And if you're a new viewer, welcome. I hope you stick around, and I intend to keep doing what I've been doing for the past couple videos. And as always, try to keep yourselves safe and happy during this time. I will be doing the best that I can to do that. But just remember to always keep your mind sharp, your heart clean, and your upper lip bitter. And until next time, I will see y'all later. Take care and thank you.